Hello and welcome. It is the 8th day of July 2019. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. Like always, all bets, trades, and well, of the like. That's within each's own risk and their own reward. And for me, I've done the mathematics. I know the numbers on what happens if a market goes up this amount of percent. I sell this much. I buy it back at this price. And well, generally how frequent these plays happen. And well, that's basically what I'm going to keep doing is just trading one coin against another. Right now, we're seeing altcoins going down with Bitcoin dominance working through. Time frames are going to be a lot different now, or a little different, as I've now, at least for the month, went to the medium package on here for the trading view, which gives me whichever time frames I now pretty much desire for the most part. And the differential from each number, 1 to 4. But before that, within the 1, going through multiple time frame analysis, just a little bit of resistance in here at the 11,814 level. And this is a breakout from this point in here after lifting off from this 18. Now we come in here grinding a little bit, but slowing down on the very short term. So it's cautionary signs for what you've seen a couple of minutes ago if you were day trading this. Oh, this looks like it's ready to go, but yet why is it doing what it's doing now? Cautionary signs. Oh, we might be filling some of this lower empty space in here. Okay, we'll see. But let's just take a look at multiple time frames. I mean, that's the one. Oh, what happened here? Well, what I see in here is at 4:56 a.m. for 2 periods, and this is 4 minutes. And if we do the math before we go to each time frame, 1 into 4, the differential's 4. 15 to 4, well, 16 would be 4, so it's 3.75. 15 is a common time frame, and 1 hour to me is it's one of the three essentials that you have to have. Differential is 4. I removed the 4 hour time frame and I replaced it with the 3. 3x differential instead. This is where it gets tricky because the time differential from hourly to daily is 24, and then you're trying to split it what you can in there. So the way I looked at it is I'm going to go 3 to 1, which is a 3 hour differential. 3 to 8, 9 would be 3x, so we're talking 2 and 2/3. And 8 to 24 hours, 24 hours is a daily, that's a 3x. Daily to the 3 day, that's 3x, and then 3x, 3 day to the weekly, that's a 1 1/3x really. But with that being said, 4 minute time frame, the market had its great gain, and I've talked about this over and over and over again. Well, now and then anyway. But I make videos over and over again, so I guess I do. And that is, well, two things. Just here, look at this failed breakdown beforehand. Just interesting the fact that it happens now and again. But the key thing is not really that. It's the big move up or down, in this case up, and then it finds a way going sideways. And where we are now within the price action, we had resistance in here at 504. We had resistance in at 524. Again, for so many different sessions. Well, two, three more. And then it got above it, supported it. Here's the failed attempt to break through, but no fast move, at least not as of yet, as it holds within this 18 average right now, supporting this area where it came from. But it has been doing so now for several periods, as it first managed to trot down there from this leg in here. And yeah, just doing nothing, but not going up, not going sideways since 8:16. It's 9:06 right now. And if we take a look at this move even on the 1 minute time frame, just to see how this move happened, what was going on beforehand, how many minutes it took. You really have to count it up to either this, I guess it's this sum here, a 4 minute move. Starting here, there's that little bit of that failed play. Let's take a look at what the looked like before each one. So in this one, there was a major volatility slice, a major volatility increase, which started from that failed breakdown that was shown in here, as it managed to dip down below this level of support at the 11.38, and then just the size of the moves, this, and of course all of this pales in comparison to what then happened there after that. And before all of this was going on, I mean, everything was just yada yada. You can't look at this and say, okay, based on how the chart reads right now, with everything I'm looking at, the price action, the volume, this and that, and whatever else you can calculate based on what you see, monstrous volatility is going to come, which will probably be a failed breakout down and a big move up. and then go sideways for a while. Okay. As we continue to look further, now we got these Fibonacci lines increased or inserted from before, and getting above this level of resistance, and so far holding through, now having a correctionary phase within the 18 on the single hour term time frame. This line became major Fibonacci resistance and support and congestion. And this area in here, as we can see, pretty big. Where'd it go to? Oh, previous level. Okay, yeah, I gotcha. We'll see where we go from here. Now what spot? Because as we see this move in here, getting above the 18 average on the 3 hour term time frame, we are seeing how this level of resistance in here, this general area, 11,467, 11,558. That's like a must-hold area for short term if it's able to do it. Because if it's not, it's a failed breakout and a failed rally attempt. But if it's ready to go now, it's ready to go now. I'm looking at resistance even more so towards this 12,216. It didn't hit it here though. And then we got a level. It didn't do too much, but just something to keep an eye at 12,859. And then 13,535 after that. But these get really short term as we move each layer higher. 8 hour term, I've never looked really at this one, but I mean it's in betweening. I mean it's it's a third of a day. And so you call it the 1/3 day chart? No, I don't like the name of that. You can if you want. But within it, we got all these lines. So that's where I look at a chart like this, and like I've seen some people put this indicator, that, this, and that. I can throw another moving average in maybe. But once you put too much, it becomes, yeah, no, it's, I mean, yeah, I can see it's breaking out above here. But now there's just too many lines. Now, just looking at how the lines are placed out and analyzing it, okay, that looks interesting. As you see, the major pierce below this support. I mean, this line could have been anywhere, of course, but it resisted this in here. When I say anywhere, it could have been here, it could have been there, it could have been here, whatever. But we come down here, you fail it. Okay, that's not good support. Well, yes, it is, because what's the analysis state if you don't support where you're supposed to? Oh, you keep going to the next level. Yeah, and it's a decisive move of some sort to the next level. So the market had a decisive move to the 98.33, and it pretty much bottomed right at the level. Microscopic pierce below. Very little resistance here, and a pierce below this level. So yeah, one of those unoften attempts, but obviously staying within it, supporting it. That's one of the things I do look for as well on the failure of resistance. And it's had a prolonged event of that. A lot of time within the 18. A small attempt here on the July 6th 4 hour timestamp where it tried to get above the 18, but obviously no glory. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attempts staying within the 18, not even close within any of these previous attempts in here to even breaking below the lows or above the highs. But this one it did, as it has now managed, of course, to get above it. I'm not going to switch this time or this market off to the Coinbase exchange because I got the other Fibonacci lines, but how they're calculated if you are curious. I'm taking these highs and I'm taking the lows all the way down to 3100 level. And they are all microscopic levels, all working its way to 23, like, well, it's 38.6, 23, or 38.2, and then 23.6, 15.4, I think, or 14.5, one of the two. But it's just the sequence that goes down, and you take 61.8%, you multiply it by that, you get 38.2. You multiply that by 61.8, you get 23.6, and so on and so forth. And that's how they are calculated on this example. And this one, using the Coinbase exchange, is using the 20,000 or close to such highs, and the 3,000 lows and close to it, a little bit below 20, a little bit more above 3,000. And wow, okay, well, definitely noticeable pierce above, but most certainly resistance when you consider how it resisted it perfectly here, pretty much. And a microscopic pierce below here at the 98.14. So now we're in that middle area. Okay, battle, Holyfield versus Tyson, as I remember it from the 90s. Although that battle took, that was a prolonged battle. It would have been good if it was 4 years earlier than it was, but it would have been better in the early 90s compared to the later 90s. Anyway, that's a different subject. I look at it as it's a bulls versus bear battle stuck within the battle zone, and the battle zone are those two lines. And within it, if you're going to break out of this correctionary phase, next test is up towards this resistance area, of course, a pierce above, which it tested before. And breaking down below the lows, if so happens the other side happens, even a pierce below, because it didn't do it last time, and usually it does. So really even down to 9,400. Only difference is this time here, it already had the pierce above. It didn't have the pierce below. So, but it's the range I'm looking at, and it's looking as if the bulls are looking to make a move up towards this upper end, and that's where I'd be looking for the next break of resistance. Is a move in between, well, really here and here, but no, really up towards 12,908. Maybe it pierces below, but usually I would be expecting it to pierce extra. And how does the situation work out if we move into such? Well, we got Fibonacci at 15,273. We'll see it a little clearly when I go like that. So within the previous levels of resistance, and I had a bunch more lines in here, but I removed them just because, again, this is too many. But there was one at 4,800, which didn't resist. It supported it, but it didn't resist it. And then there was another one here at around 41, or 4,000 and change maybe, 4080, I can't remember but it was around hair below 4,100, I think, which was major resistance. And after the major resistance, it made an amazing pattern of continuous higher lows. And then after a long duration of battle amongst this one and here from this low to this high, the bulls won, and if they ever had knockout punches there after the fact continuously, as price action within the 18, of course, stays within such on the rising on the daily in here. And amongst such, that means they're still chuggling along the battle. They're not doing anything to continue the blow, continue the emphasis, to continue the momentum. But at most, the momentum is just barely starting to stall. And even at that, not really, because it's continuing higher lows. The 18 average of lows is doing nothing in the event to do so. If this rally at 10% short term fails, that's what it's going to be, as I look at it here, as the momentum on the daily time frame is stalling. But resumption of trend is what I'd be seeing if this thing can hold and stay on the intermediate term for around a little bit above 12,000 for more than a good period of time, for a good part of a day, I would think. So then, as there's no resistance at the 48, it was mainly support. It was a decisive move to next level, but I gauged it as that. And then after it went off, a good move. No resistance, no support at all. Neither of the or at 63.50. And that was one of my heavier spots I thought was going to be resistance. And it wasn't. Okay, so be it. Adjust to the message of the market. And, well, I figured a little bit in it was going to go up to here, so be it. And was it a decisive move there? Yes, because that's pretty much what I was looking. Some sort of decisive move there. That happened. I thought it'd be a lot faster than it was, but it was what it was. Same thing here, the decisive move. I thought it would be a little bit slower than it was. Actually, I couldn't tell. It was, but that was fast. That was a fast move. And then fast move back here. And there we are. This is that battle zone that we're going into towards. The 3-day term time frame, I haven't shown that in a couple of years almost. On the Bitcoin, let's do her now. And within the decline, just going back on how, I mean, this is what it was looking like back in the day. You were having all of these matching lows, lower highs, and it like this volatility. Oh, a high of 64.50, a low of 63.77. Okay, math students, what's the differential? The answer is 72.5. And okay, next part of the question, what's the volatility? Okay, take that number divided by 63.77. Okay, I'm not gonna. If you give me the exact number and you can do that in your head, you're a brainiac. Or you can do stuff that I can't do in math, and that is that insane numbers in your head. My math says it's a little bit above that one because Well, the low 63.77 is 1%, so a hair above 1% in a span of 72 hours. And that was the fourth day in a row it did it like that. And then it really didn't continue to get much more volatile over those next few days. But the pattern at that time was the descending triangle with all those matching hot lows, microscopic volatility, and then it changed on this day. The downtrend, okay, you resist it. Okay, this is your chance to flatten the band out. You kind of did well with the highs there. You came up, you supported successfully. You resisted again, that's fine, but you gotta hold weakness. Look at the weakness in here on the lows. It's just phenomenal. This is really telling you that it's gonna break down. These lows are in major jeopardy. And of course, spoiler, you know the answer to that if it was yes or no, but that's what it was looking like. Okay, still showing weakness on the lows, and well, it should have went down by now, but it hasn't broken out yet. And this is where you adjust the message of the market. So it was looking at that fact, but until the bulls break this bearish pattern, you couldn't give any precedence yet at the time to the bulls simply by just looking at the charts. Okay, continuation down, but it was extreme low volatility. And when we've seen extreme low volatility, the last time it was like that. I mean, this wasn't as low as this. This really took the cake. But this was pretty good sized portion of or in that comparison level. And this was one of those periods. Okay, interesting. So it failed during this session in here from January 13th through that of February the 3rd, basically the latter part of January, first week of February, to break it down. And then when it had this subpar rally attempt, I say subpar because all it did was go to the 18 highs, it had this microscopic volatility, which meant it was holding that move. It didn't break out or break down, but it attempted to get above. Something to look at in this. Okay, volatility back to a more normal level for 3 periods at this point. And then you did all of this. See, in here we were showing the weakness. And when you see a setup, and this is something I remember from my trading days big time. And I wasn't the greatest in my rookie days at looking at setups, albeit, but I did notice that when a setup I thought then was good didn't pan out. Oh boy, that move on the other side was vicious. That's what I learned firsthand. So here's that great setup, and obviously that move on the other hand has already been vicious. It's over that move, but here we got here now the opposite. Instead of showing weakness on the lows, now we're starting to see the strength on the highs. Now, I prefer to see 18 average of high strength in a bull market. And at this point, you're seeing it in a trying to revert market. But you continuously see it, and there we go, when it's ready to go. There's nothing to say it was going to happen this day, but it was like, okay, give it the benefit of the doubt. It was showing day by day. But just like here, you have to give the benefit of the doubt for going down. This is pretty much the polar opposite setup as this. The only difference is this one did pan through to what the setup was supposed to give. And there's your breakout. Okay, now we're looking for support here. Of course, you can look all you want. It wasn't happening. So now a new change in the market. Okay, reversal of trend. If we go by the, okay, one established resistance, we did so in here. One, go back to the band. Well, it didn't go back. It went sideways. Markets can correct it via that of price or through that via of time. Oh, yeah, it was time. I mean, textbook. Prototypical measure of time. Okay, so as we were breaking this, okay, guys, bull market 3-day time frame. That was going on basically in this May 7th period. It gets by this level of resistance, and it didn't resist this area. And really, it was even going this part in here, a little bit above. Nope. A little bit of sideways move, corrects within the 18. Another leg higher up to this point. Down to this, and that's where we stand. So it's been successfully playing it very well within this this run so far, which of course started right back in here. It has not exited yet. It has not completed what has already been a magnificent run higher, even if the top was in play. Buyers are in control of this market. And until then, and until you can see any type of reason to give the benefit of the doubt to the sellers, it is a fool's game, I believe, to short and to this market. Now, to profit take in sections, to use a strategy I talk about where you sell incrementally here and there, not caring which direction it goes, that's all fine and dandy. But the only reason you should be selling right now at 11.9 is if you've already sold up in here, you've already bought back, and what you bought back down here, you're selling now. That, to me, as far as my strategy is concerned. As far as profit taking is concerned at different levels, maybe you got different targets here and there, because these things can go up really wildly when we look at the monthly term time frame based on how I've pretty much always perceived my analysis within this 18. And I'll now cross it through within the Bitstamp exchange when looking at the weekly and monthly. And here we have it. Same breakout spot here. Showing, and this one here, this was even more iconic on the weekly when you were looking at how it was just grinding that way, higher from that low. But nothing has stopped to even not even come close to coming close. And I say that because it's got a long ways to go just to go the 18. Then after that has to flatten the band out. That's where on the 3-day time frame, that level of closeness in here, I mean, it's been there, it's supported, yeah, okay. But on the weekly, it is just staying well above it. All levels of correction have been short and sweet, whether that be through price and or time. Short and sweet in here because this red candle, well, that's all it was. It was the only one. It didn't go the lows. Short and sweet as far as time. It was like 3 of them. So far in here, it's been having these little grinding its way correctionary moves where you can see just in this in here, it's during these periods, it's got that rate of ascent, at least near where the close areas are. We got this little bit here and this little bit there. But that's where the story goes. So nothing's changed in the story. This was a long time here of matching lows, lower highs. This has been a long time here of a rate of ascent that's in the area of something like that. And this is the rate of ascent that's been going on since this breakout. What's going to change that? Well, a break of support or resistance is going to change that. And until that, it doesn't change, obviously. So, I mean, not a great line, but any of these rates of support. But you also got to take a look at these breaks of resistance because that's when hog wild moments get crazy. And that's what I was interluding towards to what the weeklies and the monthly charts are examining. And I don't got the great ones in here. A little bit of attempt here to break above it. But that's what's going to happen oftentimes within them too. It's like going to be an attempt and fail, nice try kind of deal. And sometimes the tries won't get attempted again. And sometimes they will be successfully or unsuccessfully again. But that's that's one of the things. If you get those breaks, then you could have major volatility increases. You can see the type of, oh my goodness, how did this happen? How did we have a day where it went up 60% kind of action? Those things can become real, but I like to see those times of spots. And I'm not going to say a 60% up day is going to happen. I definitely have to say it's possible. I mean, there's no such thing as any circuits that would stop trade, so it's definitely mathematically possible. There is no questioning that, actually. And then when we look at this on the monthly time frame, the one thing Bitcoin has never had amongst the data shown, and it's only been a little bit, is any bear market. There has not been one yet. At least starting in here, at least starting from the end of 2012, because it stayed above the 18 in here. The only period below was this little bit, and well, attempted breakdown, but it never did. This was the established support, and then it comes to the band, it didn't break it. Established support, it come to the band, it didn't resist it, thus alone breaking it. And that's where it gets down to the fact that, okay, what's up with the fact that, okay, it's okay if you don't want to resist on the early stages, at least the next one. But if you don't resist the 18 highs, can you resist a pierce above? And it's just not doing that. You don't see the signs of anything of that nature. If anything, the signs of a potential extreme OMG WTF kind of move is there. You have this period in here, decent but not great volatility really, in comparison to the two periods that went by it. But I mean, it was still good. When you have an up month of 25.9% and you gave back some of your profits and you even tested a microscopic amount of the lows from the previous close, it was good volatility. But now we're in day number 8 of the month and we're doing a lot of this pausing. We're keeping it green. 6 months. If this goes up 6 months in a row, and you have these little two barely up months, and if yeah, it's just a pause. It's an inside month. For last month's high was, and it's only day number 8 again though, but 13,009 almost. Now we got 12,000, so it's got a long ways to go, and we're near now the monthly highs at 11.9. And last month's lows was in at 7,432. And when you're looking at that and you take a look at what negative moves can happen if they do take place, when the 18 average of highs comes in at 7,751 and the 18 average of lows comes in at 5,404, we've had this kind of move where it didn't resist either. It's had good continuation. It's not even showing signs of a major pierce above, because that's what I look at, like within 3 layers of resistance when coming to the 18: the lows, the highs, and the pierce above of whatever level. And none of them are showing it. So when that's the case, I'm not looking on the immediate term, which is this period next, for the 18 average of lows to come in. At least for the 18 average of lows, maybe next period, but no, I'm looking for the 18 average of highs and maybe a little pierce below, which means holding and staying above 7,750 ballpark area is what's important now. And before that, just a couple of months ago here, hitting here, it was important to hold and stay above 47. Those numbers upgrade when this stuff happens, because when the price goes higher. In the event that this thing just goes off, because this could do it at any time, it's already set live. But obviously seeing the resistance breaks above these previous highs, especially if it happens in the month of July or August, if it happens in the summer, in the dog days of summer, then I'm gonna have a hard time as much as I normally wouldn't, just by from point A to point B, point A low to where we now are here, and extended above, of saying, yeah, I don't know how much resistance we're gonna have here, because I'm gonna be very pessimistic as compared to my normal senses of resistance, given how it's playing out there, and a major non-hold spike above that. When I say non-hold spike, I mean something that goes up fast that is just going to come down hard and is not going to probably see it for a while. So in the asks of going to 60,000 then coming back to 20 kind of action is what I would think looks like something is brewing up, if I use it in that kind of term. But then again, if it goes to 60, now I want to see it hold and stay above 20. That's what I'd be saying. If this thing goes up to 20 and it does resist there, well, now the 18 is going to start to rise. The 18 lows is going to start to rise, and I'm looking at this major level of congestion in here. So I would be basically talking again, I need to see it hold 79, which really isn't that much of a difference from where we stand now, but there's not much of a difference to go up to this point as it is anyway. And on that, I would really like to, of course, to see it hold. I would say probably 82, 83, but there's lots of volatility in this market. So talk about, I'm going 60 to 20, 3x down, decline. Yep, that's normal. That's fine. That's intermediate term. Oh, long term, yeah. Could we go to 200, 250? I'm very pessimistic about Bitcoin when we go to very super long term. I do highly believe it's going to go to 6 figures. But getting into 6 figures, I'm not too optimistic. I don't know about 7 figures on that one, because the speed for Bitcoin goes, the cost, the fees, and I compare it to stuff like the LITECOIN, the Bitcoin Cashes, and all the essential others, all the other ones. It's I just don't know. I just don't know how it's going to survive. And then, of course, even the cost of and I don't know the comparison for Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash on this, although I've heard Bitcoin Cash is much better. But I'm not sure on this. But I know for the first two is right. But the electricity cost to keep the mining process on Bitcoin going, that can be an issue when other ones it's cheaper. We'll see. We'll see in time. But for now, it's all about playing the strategy of the game, playing the numbers. If I can be fortunate enough to have 3 years from here, to have the monetary collapse not happen by the end of 2022, have silver go up at normal rates, 30, 50, $60, okay, that's fine. And be able to see the markets have the up and downs, volatile swings, have the good 4 or 5x moves up and all the x moves down. If that can happen based on all the stuff that I've talked about in trading strategy and risk reward management, oh, the mathematical numbers are going to be fun. And that's where I'm going to leave this video. Yet another long one. Another long one. Multiple time frame analysis. A lot of these altcoins are going down against Bitcoin. I mean, we see Komodo going down 12%, down to 1325. DGB down to a 111 after. I was selling it last night. But you can be able to tell that when you look at, say, the 3-hour term time frame, and yeah, it got up here. If it, I'm not looking to buy right now. In fact, I can't buy this right now because actually I could buy it with Bitcoin Cash, but I can't buy it for Litecoin, which is the one I'm looking at right now, because I don't have any Litecoin on the exchange. Although that could be fixed easily enough, and quick enough as well too, because when you're in control of your own private keys, when you are in control of your own private, that's 10 words that I said there. I should have prepared that in advance, but that's exactly it. You are in control, and when you when the say for example at any type of exchange, I look at it this way: when you really trust yourself to control your private keys, and you have the situation to trust somebody you trust almost as much as you, but they control your private keys. Say maybe you trust Binance at a 98% level, but you trust yourself at a 100% level. Okay, withdrawal, send my funds to my wallet. That kind of deal. It's almost like, yeah, oh, I trust, oh, look, see this guy over there? Yeah, you can trust him with your gold. Even though you trust yourself, just go ahead and give him or her your gold. And yeah, that's something interesting of worth note there. But yeah, a lot of these big declines, if we look at the positive side, Neo's doing okay, I think. Maybe not, well, maybe Bitcoin, Binance coin against the dollar. There we go. There, that one's holding in. It's got a nice little shot on the 3-hour term time frame. I'm not really holding much of it, but I am holding it. More than I need to trade, but less than I should have for a position. Put it that way, even for whatever. But yeah, a lot of the decliners, gold. Just anything quick. Look for gold because I'm already at the 32-minute mark. It doesn't take long. Yeah, it's just staying in this choppy sideways action. You know what? It's like wake me up when you break below 1383. Wake me up when you break above 1437. I could put more alerts on, but you don't technically have to wake me up for that. When I say wake me up, I even mean you don't even have to give me an alert for that because it's not really going to change any betting actions that I would do. But one thing that I can do with the alerts, just say I'm trading something against the ratio, and let's just take something by random. QTIM is one. Let's just assume I'm trying to sell this right now. And let's just do this on the 1 minute term time frame. I'm trying to sell this, and I'm trying to sell this right now at, say, 423. So what I would do is I would add an alert for 423. And let's just assume I'm trading this against, say, Theta. Or anything I can find fast. Litecoin. See, I want to sell that to buy Litecoin, but here's the problem. Litecoin was down here. That trade is off. If Litecoin does anything like to get above this high in here, say right in here, let me know, because and it could be happening soon. Maybe this alert will go off. Because now what's going to happen is, there we go, there's the alert. What's going to happen is the trade might not be as good anymore, and I want to delete that other sell order now. That's basically it. So now that this has happened, let's take a quick look at Litecoin. What's going on here in the 1 minute term time frame? It just had this interesting move, a statement move, because we were in decline from here to here, and now all of a sudden it's had a significant break very fast, a previous high. Okay, well, that's just, I'm not going to go as slow as I did on the Bitcoin on the multiple times, but big move down sideways, small move down back to this area here. So now, okay, now it's got to be able to do something at this level, most certainly hold it around the 101 handle, but I really would like to see if it'd be able to go up a bit further, maybe to this level in here. And I mean, this was coinciding with, of course, Bitcoin, that move that I showed at the start of it. 4 hour, 15-minute term time frame, rather 4 hour, 15-minute term time frame has had some attempts to get above, but not since this decline. Attempt here, an attempt here, and it isn't even. It's got a long ways to go to attempt to even get above that. But um, see how it goes. Our time frame still declining. Level of resistance is here. Level of support in here has been tested already. It hasn't gone as deep as the previous low. It still could. It could go lower. 3 hour term time frame. There was all this grinding in here, breaking down below. It just had a small decline. Obviously not showing this, breaking down by the support you got in here. Still a long ways to go for any rally to come up to here. 8 hour term time frame, breaking down right now below this 18 average after just showing a lot of signs. But I mean, what's the breakout going to do? First, you got to test in here. That's no guarantee that it's going to fail, but the next one, which is more likely and more likely would test, and would be more likely it would succeed as a test as well. But if it breaks down here, I'm just looking for support there. That's just another way of saying that, or putting those two terms together. On the daily time frame, it has managed to get up to this level of resistance in here, and it's just been grinding its way for the most part. Has done nothing to attempt to move to the 18 average of highs, showing there has been no short-term bullish action really whatsoever. Just this little pierce in here, the from below the lows to the lows, but that's really not much at all as well. But it hasn't had any fast moves going from the retracement of this low. It's having a second test of this level with what has happened, of course, into today's session. And again, breaking down below is here. We got a 3 day term time frame, which resisted it in here. And okay, so where did we come from? We came from here. A little bit deeper mark would be here. Normally, I've been saying I really want to see it hold and stay above the 1. Well, a move down here, if it's a quick one, it can still hold and stay above it. But when it gets down to it, and I got to change my time frame on this for a longer term analysis, and what I might make and try to make extra playlist names and try to put like a whole bunch so I don't have to keep typing these on here. Actually, that's US dollar. Where's coin? We're looking for Poloniex. They're way down here. They sort of sort it by volume, I think. But yeah, so the whole general thing about here really comes down to the long-term time frame. Sideways action in here. We do have this level of support in here, and on the monthly, I mean, all this does is keep piercing above and below. So it pierced above. So to me, that's what it keeps doing. And if it does this, it would pierce below. Well, and maintain this sideways range. I'm in it for the long term with Litecoin, and I'm going to keep playing the short term moves with all the different crosses as I trade against 12 different coins, not counting the dollar and Bitcoin, which is more long term trades and only long term trades. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.